All right, so today we are talking about irrational numbers. Now, before we begin, I've started this lesson with a list of the top 15 perfect squares. Let me explain to you what that is. Does anybody know what this symbol right here is called? Aiden? Square root. Does anybody know what a square root is? Nick?
Like a number that goes in, like, can I say an example?
Sure.
Like 8 times 8 is 64.
Okay, 8 times 8 is 64. Great. Aiden?
Or like square feet, so basically it would be like what he said, but like squared. So like with I don't know what it's called at the top.
Exponent?
Yeah.
Well, let's try this. What does it mean if I square a number? Can anybody answer that question? Not square root a number, if I square a number. Luke?
You multiply it by itself.
Yeah, very good. So like if I take the number 3 and I square it, what I'm really saying is 3 times 3, which is 9. Do we agree? A square root is the exact opposite. A square root is what number times itself equals that number. So for instance, here's an example. If I give you the square root of 16, what number multiplied by itself will give you 16? Nick? 4. Do we agree that 4 times 4 is 16? Okay, so what I've done here is I've listed all the way through 115 all of the perfect squares. Now these are also on your notes. There's a sheet of PDF document that you can go back and look at later. But for instance, 1 squared is 1. 2 times 2 is 3 times 3, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, and 144. We all okay with those so far? These are very, very, very important. Now, the teaks that I'm given, we have to go through 15. So we have to do 12, 13, 14, and 15. You should have 1 through 12 memorized. Personally, I think you should. Nod your head if you think you have 1 through 12 and their perfect squares memorized. Okay, 13 is 169. 14 is 196, so you literally flip 69 and 96, so that's easy enough to remember, right? And then 15 is 225. So those are really the only 3 that you have to memorize at this point. 169, 196, and 225. Easy enough, right? Okay, so these are all well and good, but what happens when we get to a point and we don't have a nice, neat, even number? So let me just kind of throw this out there, what I mean by that. My favorite number is 41. And I want to know what the square root of 41 is. Does anybody want to make an educated guess of what the square root of 41 is? What do you think, Jordan?
20.5.
20.5? Jordan says 20.5. So let's check this. You guys all have a calculator on your computer now. Do 20.5 times 20.5. Did we get 41?
Nope.
Okay. Can anybody tell me what Jordan was thinking there? Because I know what she was thinking. Aiden, what do you think?
She was thinking like half of the number.
Yeah, she was thinking if I multiply a number by 2. That's not what exponents are, though. Exponents mean that we are multiplying it by itself. Okay? You might want to take another educated guess. So we know 20.5 is too big, right? So something less than 20.5. Luke.
Like 7.
Luke says 7. All right, everybody, do 7 times 7. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I've taught this terribly twice now. This is my 3rd time. I'm on a better roll here.
It was very close.
What did you get?
49.
Okay, 49. So do we need to be going up or down?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody give me another estimated guess. McCullough?
0.6.
0.6?
No.
Just 6? Okay. What is 6 times 6?
36.
Too low. Okay. Ray, what do you think? 6.5? Tell me what 6.5 squared or 6.5 times 6.5 is. 42.25? Do we agree? 6.289? Is that what you said? 6.2?
It's
What is 6.2 squared?
38.4.
38.4?
Yeah. Repeat it.
Okay, I'm going to pause you here. We're getting really close, aren't we? Could you see how miserable of a process this would be if we just had to continue guessing over and over and over and going up and down, up and down? It would take forever. Let me show you something though. You remember these 15 perfect squares that I just showed you? Where does the number 41 fall in between?
7, 6, and 7.
Do we agree that the number 41 is somewhere between 36 and 49? And don't we agree that our answer was between 6 and 7 over here? And didn't we start getting closer and closer the more we got there? So do you think it's safe to say that every time that we have a number between our perfect squares, that number is also going to probably fall in between the rest of them? Okay, now, here's the next question. Today's whole lesson's about what type of numbers? Irrational numbers, right? And those irrational numbers are numbers that A, never repeat, and B, go on forever and ever and ever. Agreed? So I'm going to just give you guys a little secret here. It would be impossible to find the exact number in between them. So our goal is not to find the exact number. Our goal is to figure out what two perfect squares do these numbers fall in between. So I'm going to erase all this for just a second. Nicole, give me a number. It's got to be greater than 1, but less than 225.
78.
Nicole says 78. Would anybody like to take an educated guess on what two perfect squares 78 is going to fall between? Ryan, what do you think?
8 and 9.
8 and 9. Do we agree? It's pretty easy, right? Okay. Jordan, you with me there? Ray, good? Everybody just give me a little nod if you understand where we're at right there. Okay, now, let's say that I wanted to know the exact specific. So Ryan tells me it's between 8 and 9. You guys all agree. So either Ryan is tricking all of us and he is the best liar we've ever met, or we're all just really dumb. Or he's right. Agreed? So now, here's what I want you to do. Go to your calculator. And I want you to hear me out on this for just a second. It's going to take a couple of instructions. But on your calculator, in the top left, there is a blue button that says second on it. Does everybody see that? Hit it one time. And what you should notice in your calculator is that black flashing line that you saw earlier should now have an arrow pointing up. Everybody see that? Essentially, what you have just done is you have just hit the shift key on your keyboard. Now, continue scrolling down the left side. Don't press anything yet, but just looking down the left side. And find a button that says x squared. And in the top left of x squared, there is a blue marker, like a blue sign. Anybody tell me what that blue sign is? Nick?
The square symbol.
It's the square root symbol. Now I want you to hit that square root symbol, because since we hit second, it took us to the next level of numbers. And I want you to hit that. And you should now have a square root symbol on your screen. Does everybody see that? Now, here's what I want you to do. Type in 41. So you should have square root 41. And then at the bottom right, hit enter. And then,
Wrong number.
Caitlin, read that number out loud to us.
6.41342437.
That's an irrational number. Now let me explain something to you. I told you that irrational numbers didn't end, but that one has ended, didn't it? Can I tell you why it ended? Because if a number never ends, let's just think about this logically. That means that the number would just keep going on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But a calculator stops at a certain point. That's as far as that number can go on a calculator. Let me ask you this question. We said that 41 was between 6 and 7. Is that number that you have on your calculator between 6 and 7?
Yeah.
Boom. Okay? The next number was 78. Here's what I want you to do. Square root 78 for me. Did you already do it? All right, hang tight, Jordan. Let me let everybody catch up.
Would it be possible to do this by hand, like just going through and trying to find the answer?
Yes. So, honest story. When I was a kid, Jordan, It's not that I'm that old. I'm only 28.
Put those up on the-
But we did not have calculators when I learned this skill. And so I'm not exaggerating. What I had you guys do earlier was how we solved those problems. And we had to go 5 places past the decimal. So could you imagine how long that would take to just keep guessing and checking, going up and down? It was terrible. It was terrible. Okay.
I would have been mentally exhausted after that.
It was hard. What did we get for this? Was it a number between 8 and 9? What was it?
8.831760866.
Very good. Okay. Now here's what I want you to do. This is my final thing before we move on to our assignment. I want you to take that number and I want you to type it in. Better stop. Hold on. I'm going to backtrack. Type in 3 places past the decimal. So 8 point whatever, whatever, whatever. And then I want you to do times 8 point whatever, whatever, whatever. So you're going to multiply that number by itself.
Good. We got it completely.
What'd you get?
77.986561.
77.98, right? Isn't 77.98 really, really, really close to
So
78?
you need those other numbers.
Exactly. So here's what Jordan just said. You got super, super close to it, but again, we rounded what was already a rounded number, so therefore we weren't going to get the exact number. But I think we can all agree that 77.98 is about as close to 78 as we're going to get, right? Nick.
So the only part that's confusing me, or that I'm just trying to understand is, if we have, like, if we use all of the numbers, I forgot.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to it. Okay, so I've now introduced you to this topic. What I would like to do now is I want to talk about your assignment for tonight. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm introducing another concept. I'm introducing another program. I think you'll like it, but it's going to take us a couple days to get used to it, okay? So I'm going to pull up my computer here. For all of you at home and here in the classroom, what I want you to do is go ahead and go to your assignment for today, and then I'll walk you through those steps, okay?